Hi, my name is Maria Andrade. I'm the Executive Director here at Immigrant Justice Idaho, and I'm going to do the first of what will be a series of posts from different members of our staff to discuss some of the proposals and guidances and other changes and proposed changes to immigration law that have been introduced by the Biden administration. So, to get started, I want to talk about there's going to be two different things that we'll talk about today. One is the immigration reform bill that has been proposed and is supposed to have been presented to Congress, but as far as I know, nobody's seen a copy of the actual language yet. But we have seen descriptions and summaries of what's in that bill from the Biden administration, and that's what I'm basing my comments on today. The other thing is what's called the deportation moratorium for 100 days. More accurately, what that item is both a moratorium on removals or deportations for people that have certain people that have final orders of removal, and it also the instrument that sets forth that deportation or that moratorium, which is a guidance memorandum, also includes a restatement or a change to the enforcement priorities for non-citizens, which we expect to reduce dramatically the number of individuals who had no criminal record and otherwise posed no threat to anybody in the United States from being wrapped up in the deportation system. So I'll come back to that with a little more detail. But I think the thing that's on most everybody's mind is there going to be immigration reform? And while we do not know that 100%, because we do not know the future, we do know this. We know that the proposed immigration reform bill that has been summarized and that I've read is much bolder and aggressive than anything we have seen proposed in a long time. So let's get right to it. What does it do? It creates a path to citizenship for undocumented immigrants who meet certain requirements, background checks, and pay their taxes, for people who otherwise didn't have a route. So what it would do is allow individuals to come forward and apply for what's called interim status, which is sort of like a probationary period that one would hold for 5 years. And at the end of the 5-year period, the individuals would be able to apply for lawful permanent resident status, LPR status. And that is the status that 99% of people must have before they can apply for citizenship. Under the bill, individuals who go through the 5-year probationary period and then spend 3 years in lawful permanent resident status can then apply for citizenship. A couple of caveats, of course. One on the good side, which is not everybody has to wait the 5-year probationary period. It appears that there is a carve out for individuals who have temporary protected status. And then the bill says that if individuals are dreamers, that they also won't have the 5-year period, and that individuals who are farm workers and meet their definition of farm worker also would not have to wait the 5 years. Now, we don't have a definition right now, or at least I haven't seen one in legislation that tells us what definition of farm worker is being used. We're very hopeful that that will include dairy workers because it's so important to the state of Idaho and to the individuals who work in those dairies and the businesses that rely on those workers. We also don't 100% know what is meant by the broader term dreamers. So the bill could have said this applies only the non-5-year probationary period only applies to individuals who have DACA status. But the bill doesn't say that as far as the summary goes. The summary says dreamers. So my thinking on this is that probably what they're trying to do is allow individuals who have already come forward to the immigration system and have already been fingerprinted and already have gone through background checks, like people who got DACA, like people who got TPS, to let them, bypass the probationary period because they've already been vetted, and then maybe allow individuals who meet the requirements or meet the substantive requirement of being a person who was brought here at a young age, has gone to school, doesn't have a criminal record, the requirements that we've used for DACA, but instead of making them apply for DACA first, maybe they'll just allow them to obtain, to get right through the probationary status by showing that they would have been eligible for DACA. I'm not sure, but that's my guess. With regard to the migrant workers, it's real hard to know. My guess is there's pressure, economic pressure, to provide a path to legalization for that population because the economy desperately needs a reliable workforce for a lot of the farm worker industries. There was a similar provision in the past, in the 1980s, under President Reagan. And it did require people certifying that they had worked so many days in agriculture. So I'll be looking for a definition of that, and we'll be reporting back on that. But to summarize, the new bill creates a path to citizenship for individuals who are in the United States right now, who generally don't have a criminal background. I can't tell you what all the definition of criminal and not criminal is right now. I just don't have that information yet. That have paid their taxes. That is in the summary, and they would be allowed to have a probationary period for 5 years. I am assuming that during that 5-year period, you would get a 1-year work card that's renewable. Again, I did not read that somewhere, but it doesn't make much sense to give somebody an interim status, but give them no benefit. So that is my best guess. And then certain groups of people, TPS holders, migrant or farm workers, and dreamers will not have to go through the probationary period. The other big part of that proposal is that it gets rid of these bars. They're called the unlawful presence bars. And what happens under current law is if an individual is in the United States for 1 year or longer unauthorized, so either they are here after their visa expired or they entered outside of a port of entry and have been in the United States, and then they leave. So that's accumulating 1 year of unlawful presence. If upon attempting to return, they seek a visa at a consulate abroad, or if they, come back in the United States and then later want to legalize, they are going to be hit with a 10-year bar. The 10-year bar means that even after waiting, however long it was, to get a visa, have a visa available for them, from a family petition or an employer who petitioned for them, that they will then have to wait another 10 years outside of the country before they can come back in. Now, some people with this 10-year bar can ask for it to be waived, but many people cannot. For many people, it is a permanent bar. And this has really led a lot of individuals who entered and otherwise would have left and maybe come back or, left for half the year to just stay because it wasn't in their interest, if they expected to be able to legalize someday, to leave the country and then get a 10-year bar. This raises the other big thing that is part of this proposal, and that is that there is a recognition that for some people who are using the legal immigration system, the wait is unreasonably long. It is unreasonably long. It is years long, sometimes 20 years long, if you are from a country that has a lot of people that want to come to the United States. Now, why is that? This is because Congress establishes how many visas will be available to whom and from what country per year. So there's a whole big number, and then it's divided up. First visas go to, immediate family of U.S. citizens, to immediate family of lawful permanent residents, and then to young kids, and then to, like siblings, or goes on down the line. So there's a priority that way, but there's also a cap, meaning no one country can hog up all the visas. So they have to put a cap for each country. So if you're from a country that has a lot of nationals seeking admission to the United States, your wait could be years. That's Philippines, China, India, Mexico. So what this bill does is it endeavors to get rid of some of those backlogs and to make both the family-based and the employment-based immigration system a lot swifter, which will relieve huge pressure on individuals to come unlawfully and to stay unlawfully. So I'm going to end it there. There's so much more to talk about, but I'm trying to keep these videos at least under 10 minutes, and I'm hitting up against that now. So please stay tuned to this page, and we will try and have a update every day if we can. Tomorrow I'd like to talk and get a little bit more detail about the deportation moratorium, and we'll be talking on some of the other issues in the days to come. We're excited about this move. Please be careful out there. Don't give your money away to someone who's promising you something they cannot deliver. Please make sure that you use a reputable attorney or accredited representative. And if you're out there and you're not a non-citizen but you want to support this group, there's going to be a lot of ways to support, because we're really hopeful that we're going to get some good immigration reform and that individuals will find the support, whether it be resources or access to services, so that they could actually take advantage of this, of any change in legislation. Thanks so much. Talk to you tomorrow.